So here is the second mock. I don't think
Let me tell you something. I'm feeling good about it.
there's going to be a lot of change here. My last pick was Cam Ward. Your last pick was Cam Ward.
Oh, wow, look at this.
The Titans have really. There was a video where the head coach, the offense coordinator, and the quarterback coach were all at a pro day with Cam Ward. I think it's just a given that he's going to be number one.
Yeah. It's about
kind of the most given pick in the whole entire draft.
Yeah, it's about as clear cut as when Jacksonville sent their offensive playbook to Trevor Lawrence. It's like it's not a shot in blue hell to saying Cam Ward at one. Which, you could make the argument, should it be? Is he the best player in this draft? No. But he's at that pivotal position.
And that's kind of where I'm saying it too. I definitely don't think he's the best player.
No.
Compared to last year, he definitely wouldn't have been the first quarterback off the board either.
No.
It's just kind of.
And when we say that, I want to preface this. This really isn't a shot at Cam Ward. It's just a shot at this quarterback group. Like anyone in his class wouldn't have had any shot of going in the top 5 quarterbacks last year. It's just the strength of this class is just not good. I mean, Cam Ward's. I kind of like Cam Ward, but I don't think he's going to turn that franchise around.
And if this were me, I would say not for the Titans. I don't really like this pick.
Yeah.
I just think it's the most obvious one.
Yeah.
The Titans really just they need a lot. I don't think they're putting Cam Ward in a very good position.
No.
I kind of assume that it's going to fail, not because of Cam Ward, but just the offense in general because of the Titans. It is what it kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think Abdul Carter would probably be a better pick here, but I digress. They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Speaking of Abdul Carter,
yes,
Abdul Carter,
yes,
pick 2, the Browns.
Yes.
We both had him going 2.
Yep.
I myself have no change with this. I think he would be a very solid pickup with Myles Garrett on the other side.
Where's she going? I have a change.
And so you're changing here.
I'm changing here. Everything I've seen with my limited insider knowledge that I have absolutely none of. Don't believe me for 1 second, but I like to think I do. I have some very keen knowledge. Remember to tell this knowledge that we are going to now go with Travis Hunter at 2 for Cleveland.
I have seen this. This has kind of been something growing. I definitely think this is a possibility. I kind of like this, not only for the Browns, but affecting my Giants pick as well.
Oh.
If he goes to the Browns, that would give them either someone to play on the other side of Ward, who really, to me, is a very underrated corner.
Yes.
He hasn't shown that lockdown potential yet that everyone was kind of expecting him to be. That pure number one, almost like a Darrelle Revis type corner. But he does really have the athleticism to stay with basically any receiver on the field at any point in time.
Let's think too. Injuries have halted him as well. I think if he gets a couple good healthy seasons there, he'll be top CB1.
And you can either put him on the other side of him, or you can give them that possible wide receiver number 1 in a few years.
Yeah.
And to go with a quarterback you're probably going to draft next year. You can't really put a new one in now, but I think next year or the year after, you can step away from that contract, that fully guaranteed giant contract they gave to Deshaun Watson.
Great contract that was. But, look, if you're the Browns, and since you foreshadowed a little bit, even if you're the Giants, you really can't go wrong with either of these two. Like, no matter what, I think you're getting a stud. So, I mean, it's sure it matters where you want to go, but I think no matter what, these are the closest. I don't want to say guarantees, but these are the closest thing to locks for being good as you're going to find in this class. So, no matter what, I mean, you could 50-50 of it. It really, you're getting a good player, essentially.
So at 3, I had Travis Hunter. That for me is going to stay the same. Um,
Did I really have Shador?
yeah,
That's
you had,
crazy. That's
yeah.
wild.
That's how
Wow.
wrong you had these
Yeah, no, that's
picks.
fair. That one's
Um,
valid. That one's valid. Yeah, that one's changing for me. You have Travis Hunter. I think and everything we said for the Browns could be said for the Giants too. I mean, but he wouldn't have to be wide receiver one. He could be wide receiver two, which I think makes him more of a threat because now you're talking neighbors and him together. That's like
and that's really kind of what I was hoping for is that if
yeah,
the Giants would go for Travis Hunter, they would have two potential playmakers at the wide receiver position that could really make this offense pop. Especially like last year, you could tell they were really missing Saquon Barkley.
yeah,
They were
1,000%.
not ready for his departure. They really should have re-signed him. They let the Eagles basically get handed a Super Bowl because they had Saquon.
Yep.
Not saying he obviously didn't really do much in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs really just kind of like locked in on him. They weren't going to let him beat them on the run,
It's true.
and he really just led them to the Super Bowl, and the Eagles took care of the rest. But then I'm taking that you're going to change your pick here,
1,000%. We're going Abdul Carter.
and that I mean to me, if the Browns do draft Travis Hunter too, for me it would be the same.
Yeah, but with that being said, I do think what you were saying earlier. I think this is the ideal scenario for New York. I think they're praying that the Browns take Abdul Carter. I think Travis Hunter's who they really really want.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all folds. But no, I mean, yeah, no. Get Shadur out of here. We're taking Abdul Carter, pair him up with Brian Burns. See, and then you could Kayvon Thibodeau becomes like super like a trade candidate potential. You can get some more value off of him, or if you just want to keep him, have that rotation, of course, with sexy Dexter Lawrence there as well.
Can you kind of say now if Thibodeau is a bust?
No.
It's still too early for that.
Well, I don't think he's been bad. Do you think he's been bad?
I don't think he's been bad. I just don't think.
He hasn't lived up to his number. What was he? Fifth pick, I believe. Five
Um,
overall.
I don't know exactly which off the top of my head. I do know though that
He hasn't lived up to his expectation, no matter how you slice it. But they're in a weird spot, like in New York. Like I don't know what the path is to like how you succeed really there because it's such a desolate environment, atmosphere. No one's happy there. It's just like sure, I mean the talent can overwhelm. Sure, just like in Dexter Lawrence's case, where it's like, oh my god, he's like the best defensive tackle in the league. It's kind of not even close now with Aaron Donald retiring, but it's, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's been a rough shake for Kayvon. I don't think he's been super great. Don't get me wrong, and he's going to ask for too much money, but I don't know.
a guy that is really supposed to get you sacks, and he's probably going to want 20 million a year.
Yeah,
and
he ain't worth that.
He doesn't get you 20 million a year worth
No.
of sacks.
No.
So I
Not
mean,
even
to
close.
me, I would think he was the fifth overall pick. To me, almost a fifth overall pick. If you don't re-sign him, and he doesn't be at least like, I wouldn't even say superstar, just like a star on your team, like a very important, influential part of your team.
Yeah.
I would call that a bust. And next year is going to be, actually no, this is
contract year, I believe, right here.
Did they give him the extension? Because
think so.
I think
I
this
don't-
would be
I
the
don't-
year that they would have to give him that fifth year option.
I don't
correct?
think they picked it up.
No.
I don't think so.
Actually, no. I think it's at the end of this one, right?
Is it?
Because it's at the end of the third year. So we did 22, 23,
Yeah.
24, 25, 25, 26.
Yeah, so they have to make the decision this year. Then.
So they've had to be at the end of this year.
Yeah,
Um,
which they're probably not going to pick up.
and I mean, to me, that would be considered a bust.
But I mean, with Abdul Carter, though, I mean, you could just kind of just wash your hands and just be like, oh, okay, bye. Here we go. We got our better replacement. So I mean, they could look at it that way, and you're still helping the team. And you could flip them if someone wants them, or if someone thinks they can do something with them, or whatever. You can get value for them, like a whatever the hell in this draft or next year. I think the Giants are low. I hate saying this, but low key, they're in a pretty good spot, whether they want to admit it or not. With as far as Joe Shane and Brian Dable are not, but their future, I think, is.
So next, we got the Patriots.
Mm.
You had Travis Hunter going here last, which obviously going to change. I had
Yes.
Armand Membu,
Mm-hmm.
the offensive tackle. I really think that's going to be the first offensive tackle. The Patriots really need offensive line help. Need a lot of help everywhere, really, but they just got a fancy new quarterback last year.
Yep.
They're going to want to protect them.
Yep.
With Hunter off the board, I think it's a little early for the other wide receivers.
I agree.
I don't really think you take a tight end here. They still have Hunter Henry, correct? Or did he?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think they really like Henry. Vrabel is really going to kind of probably like Henry as well.
I
So
think they brought back Hooper too.
that was a solid pickup as well.
Sure.
So I'm sticking with Membu there.
I'm with you on the fact that I think offensive line is the biggest need for this team. However, I'm going on the other side, and I'm taking Will Campbell. I think Will Campbell. I think he has everything that they're listen. But that's the thing, though. Listen, Mr. T-Rex. That's the thing. He has the flexibility. If they need guard help, he can slide in. If they need tackle help, he can slide out.
They've been drafting so many guards high the last several years. They don't need guards.
Yeah, but they've taken them too high. That's the thing. They've reached.
I think Campbell's their not guards are probably the best part about their line. They need the tackles. To me, it's such a big deal when teams see these genetic flaws with players. A quarterback shorter, they don't draft them as high. They still play well though, and then it turns out to be a great pick when they get like Russell Wilson in the fourth round, just because he was short. When a player has an offensive tackle needs a long reach, they like big butts,
and
they like big butts, and they like long arms. He's got a big butt, but he don't have long arms.
Yeah, but you know what this reminds me of though? I'm not saying that he's gonna have the same career path or anything by all means, but this reminds me a lot of Rashawn Slater back when the Chargers took him, because he was in a similar category of he's a tackle with shorter arms, and he fell all the way to like 22, 20, wherever the hell in that range. But it's like you look at him now, he's one of the top premier tackles in our league. So I mean, I think the arms, I don't want to say concern me, but I'm not a huge fan of the arm length. I'll say that, but there has to be a point where talent it's just so good that maybe it won't even matter. Maybe he'll just figure it out. But he's gonna have to do that anyway. But I just think the talent is too good to pass up here at 4. I mean, I think it's worth taking a shot on for a future tackle, the future and or Swiss Army knife on the offensive line. Personally.
Well, we will see.
Protect Drake.
At least we both went offensive tackle.
Yes.
That's a step up.
That's true.
We've now agreed on one same and one same position.
That's true.
So now, pick number 5.
Oh boy, we were very divisive.
With this picture. With everything I'm hearing, as much as I think that I want them to draft Tyler Warren, I'm going to change this one. The best defensive trench player right now for the available is Mason Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's necessarily going to get as many sacks as some of these other edge, possibly, if they do turn out. But I will agree with what your previous section was. And I do think, as much as I want them to draft Tyler Warren, they will probably try to make their defense better, and they will get Mason Graham.
I'm glad you've seen the light. But I will say, though, I have seen tight end getting more traction with the Jags. Since you made that claim, it has not been – I don't see it as too crazy anymore. I do think it's still crazy. I still think tight end at 5 is a little ridiculous, just in general for anyone. But Uh, I mean, I don't know. I think the Jags have a lot of holes, and you got to start plugging them. And I think defense, there's like no one. I mean, Tyson Campbell's like pretty good, but like that's like the best you have to offer right now. That's pretty abysmal. So I think you need to shore that up as much as you can. And Mason Graham's a great start.
So are you sticking with your Mason Brown?
I'm sticking with Mason Graham.
Look at that. We got two similar now.
That's pretty good.
Number 6.
Sorry.
What?
No, I'm noticing a trend with these picks, but no, just you're good.
That I've been changing mine?
No. That your name's been right there this whole time.
Your name's there too.
I might need to borrow your glasses because I'm not. I think,
You know,
I don't know.
I did this as a thing. I want to make sure you were still paying attention. I wanted to see
Uh-huh.
how many it took to see that your name kept gradually getting smaller and smaller.
Oh, I saw it at 4, but I I didn't really want to until I could not
You
see my
confronted me
name.
at pick 6, and I'm okay with that. Obviously, mine would have to change.
Sure.
I think the Raiders at 6. There was a thing that I saw, a letter that was posted. He said, "I'm going to be physical."
Was he?
He said, "I'm going to be physical. You're not going to be able to tackle me." And he really wants to be a Raider, it seems like. So I'm going to have to change this to Ash Gentry. It just seems like I don't personally like the pick here.
Mm.
Personally, I would actually go with Shamar Stewart.
Hold on. Were you dogging me for Shamar Stewart last time?
Honestly, I don't really like Stewart, but I think it's either between Shamar Stewart with them or Ashton Gentry. Personally, I think Stewart's a very athletic. I don't. He's kind of a very raw, like a raw egg. You got to really mold.
Yes.
The
tools are there,
but he has the athleticism. He's basically a defensive end version of Josh Allen when he came in the league.
Yes.
And now Josh Allen's a top 3 quarterback, playing great, just won MVP. I think Shamar Stewart has that kind of potential. I don't think it's going to be right away.
I agree.
But I think a team's going to really push on him.
Yeah.
Because they want that potential.
Well, guess what? We're 3 for 3. Well, not really, but I'm also taking Ashton Gentry. You also, when you just think about the fundamentals of this team, who's the coach? Pete Carroll. What did he live and die by in Seattle? The run and defense. And your best running back is who? Zamir White? Garbage, as my late great grandfather would say. So
they should have kept Jacobs. Is that what
they
you're
definitely
saying?
should have 1,000% kept Jacobs. Whatever the Giants are going through with Saquon, I know it's not technically the same, but the Raiders should have done with Josh Jacobs because like as soon as they got rid of him, their offense just fell apart. But outside of Brock Bowers,
it wasn't just getting rid of Josh. They got a whole different quarterback now. They changed everything on that offense. They don't have any wide receivers.
and it's terrible.
They didn't just change Josh Jacobs. They tanked this team into the ground.
But he was the most consistent, best part of this offense.
Yes, that will definitely say that.
And they were perfectly content with maybe he didn't even want to stay, which I don't blame him. But I think money talks. You know this. If like look at Myles Garrett. I mean, you could have easily got him back, but I don't. What is she doing?
She got stuck on the cord.
She's like trying to figure. She could just walk around it. Listen. Oh yeah. So Pete Carroll wants to establish this run game, and what I was reading and what I saw. The offensive line for the Raiders is not that bad. It's sneaky, like okay. So if you can get a good running back behind this line, I think you can have a thing that the Raiders haven't had in like 10 years, and that's stability. So I think it's worth it. I think he's one of the best. I think he's a top 2-3 player in this draft. And I think you just take it if you're the Raiders.
The Jets.
I'm interested. Okay, let me. Can I start real quick?
Mhm.
I'll start this time. My pick's not changing. I think Armand Menbu is the missing piece they need for their offensive line. I think if you want to solidify and give what's his name?
Fields.
Fields. If you want to give Justin Fields a real chance, you have to solidify this offensive line. You can't have a true weakness at this point. And yeah, I think with Garrett Wilson, I think with Brees Hall, they're hoping to have for him to have a bounce back here. With whatever the hell's going on with Alan Lazard, I guess, or whoever else they got, whatever, they have to give Fields a chance so he's not running for his life. And I think even past Fields, even if you don't think Fields is your guy, you still have a tackle of the future right here. And I think like we've been saying, he's got all the traits, like you were saying with the Patriots pick earlier. He's got all the traits. He's got everything you're looking for. And it's too obvious. It's kind of like the Jags with Mason Graham. It's just too obvious. Don't overthink it. Just take at this point, and what could be on many people's boards, the best offensive line in the draft.
But then, so you're just having the Patriots take him, not, we'll take Campbell over him just because of the versatility.
Yeah, and I think yeah. To be quite honest with you, because the Jets are in a different situation than the Patriots. That whole offensive line is just kind of The Jets at least have some guys like Elijah Vera Tucker's pretty good. Olu Fashanu, I think you still have to try to ride with and see what's going on there. You got stuff going on, and I think you want a surefire thing like Armand Mendibu for his role than to just have the Patriots when they're trying to figure out what they want to truly do.
The Jets at number 7 are going to take Jalen Walker. He's a good rush. He's a good pass rush. He can cover the tight end.
Yeah.
He just can do it all. This is kind of, now that you have Gentry, a couple of the offensive linemen, possibly, and now the quarterback's gone, and especially Travis Hunter. Now you're going to get into that really like hefty part of this defensive draft.
Yeah.
Jets have always been a defensive team. I think they really want to build this defense back to what it used to be. They could use an offensive tackle. I think they've really just been going offensive linemen the last several years. It really has not helped them. You no longer even have Mekhi Beckham.
No.
A lot of their higher picks have been average. They haven't really turned out for them. Yeah, I really think, I don't think Membo will make it this far. If he does, that'll be fantastic for the Jets. Maybe a Campbell, but I think you have so many other better options on defense, and the Jets really can use a lot of defense to where they will. Well, I think the Jets are going to go back to their defensive ways and get.
Especially with like Aaron Glenn now running the show. I think he's going to want to establish a good defense since, if he's going to think about his Detroit days, and he's going to need someone who's like, I don't want to say like an Aiden Hutchinson, but, someone who can rush the quarterback, someone who can, go out in coverage, someone who I think versatility is the name of the game in today's NFL. And with Jalen Walker, I think you're getting the epitome of it in this class.
I do have to say, ChatGPT says the Jets will get Kelvin Banks Jr. So
really,
they're kind of on your side of going offensive line
with me here. Okay, good.
Number 8, we got the Panthers. I had Jalen Walker. He just got taken.
We did.
You have Jamar Stewart. I'm 100% going to agree with you. If you change your pick, that's fine. But I'm going to say Jamar Stewart in this position.
You know what? This is actually awesome because you know what you can do? I'm about to make your life a little easier. You can just swap our names. You can just swap our names because I think, look, everything we just talked about Jalen Walker, and I just think, again, the Panthers, they're one of these teams that just need everything. Like Jadeveon Clowney's kicking around. He's been one of your, like, I don't want to say premier, but he's been a still an effective guy on your defense. And, obviously you can't rely on that. I mean, he's about turned 32. And like, you just don't have much juice off the line there in Carolina. So and you just let go of Shaq Thompson, I believe, right? I think he's no longer there. So I mean, yeah, look at this. I mean, are you kidding me? Who the hell is? I can't say that. It's gonna be mean. But what about their defensive tackle? Oh, they got what's this? No, they don't. Yeah, go to defensive tackle for me. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, what about linebacker? Can you show me the linebackers? Yeah, there's Clowney. Yeah, he's gone. And who
Do
knows?
they do a 3-4 then?
Huh?
Do they do a 3-4?
I
Yeah,
guess.
they
Yeah, they
have to.
must. Which is terrible. Imagine doing a 3-4 with this. I'm sorry. I'm crapping on these guys for no reason. They actually did pretty okay last season. Yeah, you need help everywhere. So get a guy who can do both. Jalen Walker. I think it's a pretty clear cut choice here. It's deep. This roster is abysmal. Shout out to Panthers fans. You guys need help.
It's probably going to get worse before it gets better for them, honestly.
Yeah, 1,000%. It was all going good when my boy was there.
Kind of how we talked about earlier, Shamar Stewart just being that almost Josh Allen defensive end.
Yeah.
Just throw a dart at the board, take him, because if he turns out to be great, you're not probably going to make the playoffs for at least
a couple years,
3 years anyway.
Yeah.
Give him time to develop. If he can get to that guy, then you're going to be that much better. You're going to be winning your division in 3 years. If not,
your offense is going in the right direction right now. So, I mean, if you can just start building that defense up.
Bryce Young, originally his rookie year looked like crap.
Yeah.
Last year showed he can actually play in this league.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Number 9. You got the Saints.
Yeah, looks like we're both
their guys are gone.
They are gone.
I've heard a lot of traction. I'm not gonna have to do it here. I've heard a lot of traction with apparently they and the Rams really value Jackson Dart number 2.
Really? That's surprising.
I'm not having them go Jackson Dart.
Okay.
What I will have them do is here is where I think Mykel Williams is going to go. Because they do need the help on defense. Yeah. Cameron Jordan,
who
getting very old.
Yeah.
They do have Chase Young still?
They just re-signed him to a 3-year deal.
They did. Okay. Don't know much about Carl Granderson, but Mykel Williams can really help this defense a lot.
I agree. Look, we already talked. I mean, Mykel Williams is everything you're looking for in a modern day edge. Plus, he's already a great run stopper with the potential to become a great edge, like a pass. What am I called? Rushing the passer, which I think is not rare, but I think that's an awesome starting point to where you're already really good in one area, which some people like struggle with. Like if you're like a great pass rusher, most of the time your run defense isn't great, but like he already has that foundation. So if you just increase that, plus you have the physical tools, you have all the things that you're looking at. I mean, the arm length and the athleticism is just off the chart ridiculous. I think Mykel Williams, I think similar to Jalen, is like that Josh Allen or Shamar Stewart, excuse me, that Josh Allen of just like, if you take it and you mold it, you can get a diamond out of this guy. And I think the Saints, that's good. I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you. I think we need to improve this D line, but I'm gonna take a guy that's been jumping up charts like crazy that I've seen, and I'm gonna admit I have not seen him go this high, but I think that's what the draft's about. You just don't know. I'm gonna take Walter Nolan in this spot here. Sure up that interior. Nice. And work up, we have to get a starting point here. And that the interior is atrocious. And I think edge is really deep this year. So I think if you take Walter Nolan here with the 9 and then immediately go edge after, I think you can not solidify. I think you could go. That's a good point for you guys where you are. It's a really aging bad defense. And what better way to start rebuilding it than in the trenches?
So now we got at pick 10, the
Wow.
Bears. Clearly, you're going to have to change. For me, I'm going to change this one.
So no more Jahdae Barron.
No more Jahdae Barron. I do think I like the Jahdae Barron pick for the Bears. I really do. I think he's probably, I wouldn't necessarily say best available, but someone that could really help that defense out a lot.
Yeah.
That could really give them an edge at corner. I know they have Jalen Johnson,
but that's really it. My boy needs help.
But that secondary is looking pretty good. I mean, was that Kyler Gordon?
Oh, isn't that Tyreek? Isn't that the dude that got cooked by the Commanders? Tyreek Stevenson.
Yes.
Yes. I would have cut that dude that week.
I mean,
maybe they did.
Could. I don't know. Maybe
they should.
I mean, they got Edmonds from the Bills. But I kind of agree that Walter Nolan is going to be going upwards, and
is he going to Chicago?
I don't know whether it'll be him or Kenneth Grant, but I would probably have to say it's probably going to be Walter Nolan here going to the Bears.
I like it. I mean, as we can see on our TV screen, people at home can't see it, but it looks absolutely atrocious. And again, the Bears, kind of like the Jets, are another culture where it's like you need the defense. That's where you thrive off of. I think you need some more help on the defensive side desperately. So any good addition you can have, I would snag immediately.
So who are you?
Well, so everything I just said, I'm completely going against. Because I'm not gonna lie to you. I watch a lot of content in regards because I don't have time to watch film, and all that stuff yet. I'm trying to figure out how to get into that. But I rely on others' feedback and what they see and what they hear, right? Someone made a really good not crucial. Someone made a really interesting point. I think I was the word I'm looking for, where we remember the Bijan Robinson draft, and all of a sudden, he goes, and then all of a sudden, we're like, oh well, there go the running backs, and then bam, Jahmyr Gibbs goes at 12. I think we have a similar situation here because I don't think these running backs are too far off. I think, again, I will say everything I said about Ashton Gentry last time, I'm going to say for this guy. I think Ben Johnson knows is it Brian or Ben?
Ben.
Okay. Ben, he knows the effectiveness of having a 1-2 punch at the running back position. I think he knows how valuable that can be, especially for this offense it really doesn't have a true identity. It's kind of just like Caleb Williams out there chucking it up, making a play here or there, and then you're trying to keep this running game going with DeAndre Swift. But I think if you have another guy there that can take the edge off and that can help out, I think that would be pretty key for the Chicago Bears. So the newest Bear I have is Omarion Hampton out of UNC. I think he's not as good as Ashton Gentry, obviously, but I think he is a force to be reckoned with. I think he's going to be a round 1 pick. I think as a pass catcher, as a pure runner, I think he's everything Ben Johnson wants in that offense. Apparently, especially when you pair him up to DeAndre Swift. I mean, you're talking. Yeah, I'm getting memories of like C.J. Anderson and who was his running mate? Whoever he was running with in Denver that year, and of course, obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
I could definitely see that. I mean, honestly, to me, I think taking Hampton this early is a little too high.
Hmm.
Um, but I do kind of agree with you that Ben Johnson's probably going to want to. He's already got some wide receivers he can work with.
Yes,
He's got Cole Kmet as a tight end. Their offensive line is good enough. It does have some holes.
that's a good term for it. I think it's
I mean,
okay.
they really need a center. The best two are the tackles.
But
So,
don't forget they revamped it in the offseason like
I
crazy.
mean, if anything, to me as well at this position, I could also go with the versatility of the Will Campbell.
Sure.
But I think their defense is just missing a couple pieces. Their offense is just still a pretty young, still getting better. I think this is kind of the year for them to go defense and see what they have on offense for
Hey,
Ben Johnson to improve on next year.
very well could be. I mean, you could go either way with Bears, and I think it makes sense.
So at 11, we got the 49ers. Um, I'm going to change mine.
I am going to change mine as well.
You're changing yours.
I am changing mine.
Here, I actually have Jade Barron going at 11 now.
So let me ask you, why ahead of Will Johnson all of a sudden now?
I've always kind of thought of Barron as the better corner.
Well, the versatility is huge. I mean, the ability to play inside and outside at good levels is kind of crazy when you think about it.
For Johnson?
For Barron.
Oh, for Barron. I thought you were trying to.
No. Will Johnson's
Johnson.
freaking me out because he won't do any of the combine stuff and he won't do the 40 and he won't, which is like red flags are going galore for me, to be honest with you.
That's always somewhat worrying.
Yeah, especially for a corner when you need these physical traits.
The last mock, I just had kind of like a run corner.
I remember
this
that.
one. It's going to be probably, honestly, a little bit before Will Johnson for me again. But here, with, I believe his name was Trentavious Ward. He's no longer with the 49ers. They're going to need a corner. Just kind of like an obvious pick of getting the best available corner at 11. I think that could be a very solid pick for the 49ers.
I'm with you. They definitely need to address corner. It's all of a sudden become a huge need for them. However, in saying that, I am going to stick with my same ideology. It will not be Mykel Williams. I think what we've been saying, what feels like all this whole time, which is good because I think it should be stated. Shamar Stewart, I think, is a great pick here to pair alongside Nick Bosa. But and you know who better to be across from maybe Myles Garrett, but it's like you can it helps. It helps Shamar because he's never going to go against the best offensive lineman, and it helps the Niners because now you can't double Bosa, so you get a 1-2 combo. You can have the strength of that team become the strength of it again, and I mean, I think it just makes too much sense. The sack numbers we talked about it last time. I just want to quickly address it. They don't matter. Who cares if he had 4 sacks? It's not ever about sacks. It's about your pressures and eye test as you get into the quarter. I mean, you could have a historically dominant season as an edge rusher and have like 5-6 sacks if you're always getting to the quarterback and the quarterback just happens to get the ball out a split second before you get there every time. It's happened. It can happen. I think Shamar Stewart is a beast that we're not really addressing enough and isn't getting enough love. But, you know, I was pushing it last time. You've now seen the light. I think Shamar Stewart's going to the Niners.
I think this is kind of the best scenario for Shamar Stewart.
Yes.
I'm just worried that because of his athleticism, because of his basically no ceiling potential, that there's going to be a team ahead of the 49ers that will want to take him.
1,000%. Yeah,
but this would 100% be Shamar Stewart's best landing spot.
Yes.
Especially this early with the 49ers having Nick Bosa on the other side. That defense could be amazing again.
And don't forget, they got Bobby Saleh back. Bobby Saleh licking his lips. He's like, give me that edge.
That would be fantastic.
Woo. Oh, my Niners,
12,
baby.
the Cowboys.
Look at these two.
We both last time agreed on wide receiver.
Mm,
You had McMillan gone before,
I did.
which is why you had Golden.
I did.
We both still had McMillan available.
It's true.
Are you changing your pick?
I am. Are you?
I am.
Ooh. I'm. This is one that I've been actually thinking about for like a week or two now, and it kind of just dawned on me, like just randomly out of the blue. And I think this is such a perfect fit that I don't even know why no one's talking about it. I think with the 12th pick, the Dallas Cowboys should go Tyler Warren. I think look, Jake Ferguson is okay. But when you have the chance to get something like a Tyler Warren who can dominate the middle, who can go out, who can do it all, who can do, don't, you need, let me finish my point. Who can, look, just because they made a bad trade, look, he's going to help. You cannot just double CeeDee Lamb all the whole time. Tyler Warren's out there. Tyler Warren was the best player on a great Penn State team. And that pains me to say because I freaking hate Penn State.
And I hate
but
Ohio State University. But
yeah, but they produce great players. You mentioned one earlier. You talked about it. You talked over
players do they produce?
Denzel Ward.
I said he was an underrated corner
because he is. He's
because he's always hurt, just like all the other players.
Yeah, but a couple. No, not all the other players. Nick Bosa's a beast. Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa. We love Joey Bosa now. We love Joey Bosa now. We love
You're naming
Joey
players
now.
that always get hurt.
We love Joey.
He's
our guy
he's
now.
On the Bills.
He's our yeah.
We know that he's only going to play half the year.
That's so. No. Not true.
So I was honestly hoping that I could just switch our names again because I'm going Matthew Golden here.
He's really good.
McMillan is falling down the boards. Golden is going up the boards. The true wide receiver, I think technically, Justin or Travis Hunter.
Yeah, but
what is he?
Exactly.
But the top technical wide receiver is Matthew Golden.
Sure.
So I'm going to have him. He's going to pair great with CeeDee Lamb. I think that's going to open up Ferguson even more. For a guy named Jake, you really hate Jake Ferguson.
I love Jake Ferguson. I drafted him last year in my dad's fantasy league. If I draft you in my dad's fantasy, let me tell you something real quick. I know it's a little off topic, but when you're a tight end in my fantasy league and I draft you, you do really good. If you're a quarterback, you have the worst year of your career. And you know what? I want everyone to thank me real quick because you know who I drafted last year? Patrick Mahomes. So you're all welcome. You're all welcome. I will never draft Josh Allen. I'm thinking about taking Joe Burrow next year.
And you had them take who?
Tyler Warren.
Yes, Tyler Warren.
He could be a generational talent.
They said the same thing about Kincaid, and
said the same thing about Brock Bowers.
They said the same thing about Brock Bowers. They were hoping Kincaid would be the Brock Bowers, and it was Sam Laporta that year, apparently.
Yeah, I remember him.
Well, the Dolphins at 13. We got Will Campbell and Kevin Banks, technically both available still.
Yeah, look at that. Look how that felt for you.
I'm not changing my pick. As much as I don't want Will Campbell to go to the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins want to protect Tua. Will Campbell will help them do that at multiple different positions.
Now, look, I completely agree with you. I think protecting Tua should be a top priority for this team. However, Jalen Ramsey looks to be no longer a part of this team. So I think you should address corner. And I think you should take the best corner in this class. I think Jahdae Barron to Miami is the way it's going to go. I mean, you have the inside outside versatility. You have what I believe to be the best ball skills. People are a little concerned about his little arms, but if you play the ball, like if you know where you're supposed to be and you have the ability to get there at the right time, it doesn't matter. And he's got instincts that I think you can't teach. So with all that being said, you're desperate need for corner at this point because I can't even name you another. Can we go? Can we take a look see real quick?
Honestly, I don't think the Dolphins are going to let him go. Um, the contract situation, to my understanding, is absolutely terrible whether they release him or trade him.
Yeah, this
Um,
group's abysmal.
could be worse. They
Oh
don't
my god,
necessarily need
is that
a corner.
Saran Neal?
Yeah, they signed him
Oof.
from the Bills once he got
Oof.
kicked out. It was like a package deal with your boy
Oh my
Hoyer when he
guy.
got signed
Oh,
as
I
well.
love that dude. Should we
They
name
just
drop him?
like were like, hey,
We got a deal
how
for
are
you.
we going to beat the Bills defense? We're going to sign all their former defensive players, get taught how to play them defensively, and then lose even more than what we did before. So
we want it colder.
unless Storm Duck comes out of nowhere.
He totally should. That what a great name, dude. Oh my god. Cater Kahu.
Kendall Fuller. They to me they don't necessarily need another corner. I don't even think Jalen Ramsey's going to be gone.
Well,
it's going to really hurt them a lot.
Well, I think if they do, let me put it this way. I think it's either one of our picks. I think if they think they can get Jalen Ramsey back, they'll take Calvin Banks or whatever best offensive lineman is. If they don't think he's going to get it back, I think they're going to go Jade.
We got at 14 the Colts. You had Tyler Warren. I had Colson Loveland.
Are you now? I'm interested here. Are you changing?
I am changing.
Oh, okay.
Because I now kind of agree with you that they will go tight ends and they will get Tyler Warren here.
Well, guess what? You can switch our names again. Look, Colston Loveland went from the clear-cut tight end to a late first round. Everyone had him pegged to the Chargers, I think, which I think is what I have here. But I mean, I think, and now people are saying he might go top 10. He might even be tight end 1. I think people are starting to realize that. Look, Tyler Warren's obviously the better player, but I think Colson Loveland is better all around, blocking, get the tough catches, the dirty work that I think Tyler Warren
the
is
true Michigan player.
Exactly. The true take your lunch pal to work, first guy in, last guy out, type that deal. But I think they have to go tight end. I think it's been such a sore spot since really Dallas or Kobe Fleener with luck, or I guess. I mean, like it's been such a sore spot for him, and what better just get Anthony Richardson some more weapons, or Danny Dimes.
Exactly. Whoever kind of starts, I'm not entirely sure whether they're going to go Richardson or take him out.
This camp's going to be really interesting. I think
it really is. They're one of the few teams that quarterback is kind of like up in the air.
Yeah.
And I mean, for doing pretty well last year, mostly with who was the quarterback? Flacco. I can't even remember who the quarterback was.
I think so, yeah.
When they took Richardson out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Flacco.
They just this year they really need to learn what they have in Richardson. They kind of already had the receivers. Having a tight end will help.
You know what it reminded me of? The Panthers when they took Bryce Young out and they put Dalton in, and they actually looked like an okay offense. I think that's exactly what they needed to, like, Joe Flacco come in and be like, hey, look how this is supposed to be run. Look how it can be run. And I think hopefully that helped Anthony, because I really I'm a big fan of Big Tony.
I mean, I think he could be a pretty okay player, but I mean, in college he didn't really have that many starts.
No,
he had on paper some really solid games, but if you actually watch him, he didn't really have the accuracy. It was a lot of running.
Well, it's the Josh Allen comp.
Yeah, and that's why they drafted him so high, because they wanted him to be that Josh Allen type of player that they could develop and change. But so far, it hasn't worked out that well. I mean, it took the Bills 1 year to really just have Allen start his first year. The second year they made the playoffs. And he wasn't elite looking, but they were good enough to make the playoffs. Then, like the second, third year, he took a great jump. And this is now Richardson's third year going into. So we're going to see. Can he make that same jump, or are they maybe moving on next year?
He's got to stay on the field. That's his thing.
He's not taking. He can't rest anymore. He can't take a playoff here or there.
He can't quit, which is what he did. You can't do that.
Just wanted one play. He wanted a break. Give him a
Okay.
break. 15. We got the
Look at
Falcons.
this. They're both gone.
They're both gone.
That's
Obviously, it's a change here.
real quick. Look at baby. Look, I'm sleeping on my title. She missed me. Yeah. However, I'm still going defense. I don't know if you are or not. I think they failed to address it last year. I still look. I, the whatever the Michael Penix pick is, however you felt about it, I guess it's working out now. But he's gone. But you still need a lot of work on this defense, and I think when you look at their corners, it's AJ Terrell, who is really great, and other guys. So I think I think that should be a good starting point for you. When you have a great safety in Jesse Bates, you have some guys here and there that jam. That's so bad. That threw me off. But you need to start establishing this defense. The offense is there. You have the playmakers. You have a Kyle Pitts. You have a Drake London. You have a Bijan Robinson. You have the tools to be successful on offense. You need to start building up this defense. And I think taking Will Johnson here is going to help you build up this defense more to where it needs to be. And the way this roster is constructed, you're trying to win. So you got to start trying to win.
Honestly, I was kind of thinking the same exact thing. It was kind of down to a couple players to me. But a lot of the other ones are kind of be a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, I mean, getting a corner to play opposite AJ Terrell when you've really spent the last seems like 5 years drafting these offensive weapons that they have.
Including quarterback.
It's time now to just focus
for once
away on that defense that you want. I mean, it seems like they're pretty solid everywhere else, except maybe offensive line. They could use a couple things, but
they lost a couple.
Everyone can really use an offensive line in here or there. I think I'm gonna go exactly with you, Will Johnson, corner.
Oh, look at that.
Cardinals.
Now,
are you upset with your pick? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. This might be a little spoiler. My tune has changed on Luther Burden.
A lot of other people say the same thing.
He's not. I'm telling you right now. He's not. I'm not taking him in my first round. He's off my top 32.
Because of the lack of effort.
Yeah, I mean that really matters to me. Like if you're not, I'm not expecting like some of these players are a little crazy. Like when they say they're willing to lay their life on the line or some stupid whatever the hell, that's ridiculous. You should never do that. You should make like Tyler Lockett, for instance. He makes business decisions. When he catches that ball, down.
You don't want players to bite off kneecaps? You're not
not for me, but if that's your environment, that's your atmosphere. Hey, it's worked. They've made the conference championship. They're doing good. Shout out to them. This guy though, I don't think he's going to be in that range. And it just so happens that a much better receiver has become available in this round. So I think Arizona. I think you need to pair MHJ. He's got to get a nickname. I don't like, you got to go down. I think you need to get him a better running mate. Yeah, these guys, Greg Dortch, are we being for real? We got to get him a better running mate. And it just so happens that the guy who's fallen is really good. And his name is Tet McMillan. And I think it's a perfect compliment for MHJ. Just a couple of big guys going out there looking for the ball. I'm gonna give Jake's mock draft right now
is my last word. No.
Go on.
The Cardinals, I myself have McMillan going as the wide receiver. I do think they need wide receiver help. I think we're going to see it later in this one. Matthew Golden went very late in my last mock. I wasn't really thinking about it at the time, but he has been soaring up draft boards.
Yeah.
I think he'll be ahead of McMillan. And because the Cowboys I have drafting Golden would make McMillan the best available here. So to give another option for Murray, I think it's going to be McMillan here.
Well, clearly, I very much agree with you, but it just so happens that I misplaced some of my best available sheets, and Matthew Golden's still here. So I'm gonna take Matthew Golden, but it could easily be Tet. Like, just because I think Matthew Golden's better, like they could view Tet. I don't think the gap is that big. To be honest with you, I think a lot of the Tet McMillan stuff is just, prospect fatigue. Like, we've seen it before where it's just like they're so good, they're so like, this is where they're going to be the first guy taking blah blah blah, and then we get to it and it's like, well, wait a minute, this guy's pretty okay, this guy's better here. Like, they start nitpicking them, and I think they're both really good.
I think they'll both be solid players in the league.
Yeah.
I just think that because of the lack of speed on McMillan, it's not even that he's slow. It's just Golden is.
Sure. He's got everything.
His athleticism was so much better.
Yeah.
Because the combine, I think kind of flip flop those two.
I agree.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with McMillan. I don't think either one of these guys is like a number one right away, which is why it's a perfect situation to go into with the Cardinals having Marvin Harrison Jr. already on that other side.
Yeah.
Whoever would be on that other side would be in a great spot.
I agree.
So
I'll take Golden, but obviously I think they should go receiver, as you do as well.